My own blood sister. Do you have any sense of all the troubles God keeps bringing on the two of us? As long as we're alive? All that misery which stems from Oedipus. There's no suffering, no shame, no ruin, not one dishonor which I have not seen, in all the troubles you and I go through. What's sister saying? Something our general has proclaimed throughout the city? Do you know of it? Have you heard? Or have you just missed the news? Dishonors which better fit our enemies are being piled on the ones we love.
I've had no word at all from Antigone. Nothing good or bad about our family. Not since we two lost both our brothers. On the same day by each other. Since the Argive army just last night had gone away. I don't know anymore if I've been lucky or faced total ruin.
I know that. That's why I brought you here, outside the palace, so only you can hear.
What is it? The way you look makes it seem you're thinking of some dark and gloomy news.
Look what Creon's doing with our two brothers. He's honoring one with a full funeral and treating the other one disgracefully. Ethically, they say his head is burial, according to our customary rites, to win him honor with God. But as for Polynices, who perished so miserably, an order has gone out throughout the city. That's what people say. He's the head, lament with funeral. He left a buried and wept, a sweet treasure for the birds to look at, for them to feed on to their heart's content. That's what people say the noble Creon has announced. And now is coming to proclaim, to state it clearly to those who have not heard. For Creon, this matter is really serious. Anyone who acts against the order will be stoned to death before the city. Now you know, and you'll quickly demonstrate whether you were nobly born or else unworthy of her splendid ancestors.
My poor sister. If that's what's really happening, what can I say that would be of any help to ease the situation or resolve it?
And whether you will work with me in this and act together.
What kind of work? What do you mean?
Will you help these hands take up Polynices' corpse and bury it?
What? You're going to bury Polynices? That's been a crime for all in Thebes.
Yes. Do you not remember our father's curse upon our brothers and what he said to Polynices while we were in exile?
Yes. Father said, "You shall die by your own brother's hand. You shall kill the brother who banished you."
And what about our now dead brother's last words to us?
To you.
To us. Polynices said, I must go silently to meet this doom.
Oh, sisters. Sister of mine, you heard the hard curse of our father. For God's sake, sweet sake, if father's curse comes true, if you find some way to return home, do not, at least, dishonor me in death. But give me a grave, for oft since you shall have paid my ghost. God bless you, if you do what I have asked.
It is only in death that you can help me now. Yes, I'll do my duty to my brother, and yours as well. If you're not prepared to, I will be caught betraying him.
You're too rash. Has Creon not expressly banned that act?
Yes, but he's no right to keep me from what's mine.
Think, Antigone. Consider how our father died, hated and disgraced. And those mistakes which his own search revealed forced him to turn his own hands against himself and stab out both of his eyes. We are not women, his mother and his wife. die far worse than all the rest if we defy the law and move against the king's decree. Against his royal power. We must remember that by birth we're women, and as such we shouldn't fight with men, since those who rule are much more powerful. We must obey in this, and in events which brings us even harsher agonies. So I'll ask God for pardon. Since I am being compelled, I will obey those in control. That's what I'm forced to do. It makes no sense to try to do too much.
I wouldn't urge you to. No, not even if you were keen to act. Doing this with you would bring me no joy. So be what you want. I'll still bury him. It would be fine to die while doing so. I'll die for my brother. As for you, well, if you wish, you can show contempt for those laws God holds in honor.
I'm not disrespecting God, but I can't act against the state's law. That's not in my nature.
Let that be your excuse. I'm going now to make a burial mound for our dear brother.
Sister, I'm so afraid for you.
Don't fear for me. Set your own fate in order.
Make sure you don't reveal what you intend. Keep it closely hidden. I'll do the same.
No, that's the best. If you don't let everybody know, I'll despise your silence even more.
My heart is hot to do cool deeds.
But I know I'll please the ones I'm duty bound to please.
Yes, if you can. You are after something which you are incapable of carrying out.
Well, when my strength is gone, then I'll give up.
Vain attempts should not be made at all.
I'll hate you for going to speak that way. And you'll right earn the loaning of the dead. So leave me and my foolishness alone. We'll get through this fearful fame. I won't suffer anything as bad as a disgraceful death.
Right then. Go. That's what you think is right. But remember this. Even though your mission makes no sense, your friends and your sister do truly love you. You are a wonderful sister to our brothers. And to me.
Oh, ray of sunlight!
Most beautiful that ever shone on Thebes.
City of the seven gates.
You've appeared at last,
You glowing eye of golden day.
The white shield warrior of Margos.
who marched here fully armed, now forced back by your sharper power. Against our lands he marched, sent here by the warring claims of Polynices, an eagle screaming above our land, with covered wings as white as snow, and hordes of warriors in arms.
Standing above our homes.
He
He raged around our seven gates, with threats to swallow
And
us.
spears thirsting to kill.
Before their jaws had had their fill and gorged themselves on Theban blood.
He went back.
Driven in retreat. Behind him rings.
The din of war, his enemy, the Theban dragon snake.
Too difficult for him to overcome.
God hates an arrogant boasting tongue, seeing them march here in a mighty stream, in all their clanging golden pride. He hurled his fire and struck the man, up there, on our battlements, as he began to scream aloud his victory. But things turned out not as he hoped. Great God assisted us. God smashed them down
And doomed them all.
to a very different fate. 7 captains at 7 gates marched against 7 equal warriors. All paid God their full bronze tribute. God who turns the battle tide. all but that pair of wretched twin brothers, born of one father and one mother too, who set their conquering spears against each other, and then both shared a common death. Now victory with her glorious name has come, bringing joy to well-armed thieves. The battle's done. Let's strive now to forget with songs and dancing all night long, with God leading us to make thieves shake. Let our temples ring with night-long rejoicing and dancing. Here comes Creon, new king of our land. Thanks to God.
People of Thebes, God has brought our ship of state to a safe port. After much tossing of our ship of state, God has safely set things right again. Of all citizens, I've summoned you, because I know how well you showed your respect to the eternal powers of the throne. First with Laius, and again with Oedipus, once he restored our city. When he died, you stood by his children, firm in loyalty. Now, his sons have perished in a single day, killing each other with their own two hands. Brothers stained with brothers' blood. And so I have the throne, all royal power. For I'm the one most closely linked by blood to those who have been killed. It's impossible to really know a man, to know his soul, mind, and will before one witnesses in strength in governing and making laws. For me, a man who rules the entire state and does not take the best advice there is, but through fear, keeps his mouth forever shut, such a man is the very worst of men, and always will be. And a man who thinks more highly of a friend than of his country, well, he means nothing to me. Let God know. God, who always watches everything. I would not stay silent if I saw disaster moving here against the citizens, a threat to our security. For anyone who acts against the state, its enemy, I'd never make my friend. For I know well our country is a ship which keeps us safe. And only when it sails its proper course do we make friends. That is why I've announced to all citizens my orders for the sons of Oedipus. Eteocles, and my son Megares, who perished in the fight to save our city. The best and bravest of our spearmen will have their full burial mounds with all those purifying rituals which accompany the noblest of corpses as they move on. As for his brother, that Polynices, who returned from exile, eager to wipe out in all-consuming fire our ancestral city and our God, keen to seize upon his family's blood and lead men into slavery. For him, the proclamation stands he will have no burial mound, no funeral rite, and no lament. He will be left unburied, his body there for birds and dogs and rats to eat, a clear reminder of his shameful fate. That's my decision. For I'll never act or respect an evil man in preference to a man who's acted well. Anyone who's well disposed towards our state, alive or dead, that man I will respect.
King Creon, if that's your will for this city's friends and enemies, it seems to me you now control all laws concerning those who died and us as well, the ones who are still living.
See to it then, and act as guardians of what's been proclaimed.
Give that task to the younger ones to deal with.
There are men assigned to oversee the corpse.
What remains would have us do?
Don't yield to those who contradict my orders.
No man is such a fool that he loves death.
Yes, that will be his full reward indeed. And yet many men have often been destroyed because they hope to profit in some way.
Oh, my lord. I can't say that I've come out of breath by running here, making my feet move fast. Many times, I stopped to think things over, and then I turned around and retraced my steps. My mind was saying many things to me. You fool! Why do you go where you know for sure your punishment awaits? And now, poor man, why are you hesitating yet again? If Creon finds this out from someone else, how will you escape being hurt? Such matters kept my mind preoccupied, and so I went, slowly and reluctantly, and thus made our short road turn into a lengthy one. But then the view that should come to you went out. If what I have to say is nothing, then I'll say it nonetheless, for I've come clinging to the hope that I'll not suffer anything that's not part of my destiny.
What's happened that's made you so upset?
I want to tell you first about myself. I did not do it, and I didn't see the one who did, so it would be unjust if I should come to grief.
You had so much! Clearly, you have news of something ominous.
Yes, strange things that make me pause a lot.
Why not say it and go? Just leave.
All right, I'll tell you. It's about the corpse of Polyneices. Someone has buried it and disappeared after spreading thirsty dust onto the flesh and undertaking all appropriate rites.
What are you saying? What man would dare this?
I don't know. There was no sign of digging. There was no marks of any pickaxe or mattock. The ground was dry and hard and very smooth, without a wheel track. Whoever did it left no trace. When the first guard on day watch revealed it to us, we were all amazed. The corpse was hidden, but it was not in a tomb. It was covered in dirt, as if someone wanted to avert a curse. There was no trace of wild animal or dog who'd come to rip the corpse apart. Then the words flew around among us all, with every guard accusing someone else. We were about to fight. No one was there to put a stop to it. Every one of us was responsible, but none of us were clearly in the wrong. In our defense, we pleaded ignorance. After all our searching had proved useless, one man spoke up, and his words forced us all to drop our faces to the ground in fear. He said we must report this act to you. We must not hide it. And his view prevailed. I was the unlucky man who won the prize, the luck of the draw. And that's why I'm here now, not of my own free will or by your choice, for I know that no one likes a messenger who comes bearing unwelcome news with him.
My king, I've been wondering for some time now. Could this act not be something from God?
Stop. Now, before what you're about to say enrages me completely and reveals that you're not only old, but stupid too. No one can tolerate what you just said when you claim God might care about this corpse. Would God pay extraordinary honors and bury a man who served him well? Someone who came to burn his offerings, his pillared temples, to torch his lands and scatter all his laws? Or do you see God paying respect to evil men? No. No! For quite some time, people in this town have secretly been muttering against me. They don't agree with what I have decreed. They shake their heads and have not kept their necks under my yoke, as they are duty-bound to do if they were citizens who were content with me. I well know these guards were led astray. Such men urge them to do this action, to foster evil thoughts, to make them commonplace among all men. Nothing is as powerful as money. Money trains and twists the thoughts of worthy men so they then undertake disgraceful acts. Money teaches men to live as scoundrels, familiar with every profane enterprise. But those who carry out such acts for cash sooner or later see out for their crimes, they pay the price. For if our great God still has my respect, then understand this. I swear to you, on oath, unless you find the ones whose hands buried him, unless you bring him here before my eyes, then death where you'll never be enough. No, not before you're hung up, still alive, and you confess to this gross, violent act.
Do I have your permission to speak now, or do I just turn around and go away?
Fuck, did I find your voice so irritating? Don't you realize that?
Where does it hurt? Is it in your ears or in your mind?
Why try to question where I feel my pain?
The man who did it, he upsets your mind. I offend your ears.
My, I see it's natural for you to chatter on.
Perhaps. But I never did this.
This and more. You sold your life for silver.
How strange and sad when the one who sorts this out gets it all wrong.
Well, enjoy your sophisticated views. But if you don't reveal to me who did this, you'll just concern yourself with how much your treasonous gains have made you suffer.
Well, I hope he's found. That would be best. But whether caught or not, and that's something sheer chance will bring about. You'll not see me coming here again. This time, against all hope and expectation, I'm still unhurt. I owe our God great thanks.
There are many strange and wonderful things, but nothing more strangely wonderful than man.
He moves across the white-capped ocean seas, blasted by winter storms, carving his way under the surging waves engulfing him.
He wears down the unwearied and immortal earth, harassing her, as year by year his plows move back and forth.
He snares the light-winged flocks of birds, herds of wild beasts, creatures from deep seas trapped in the fine mesh of his hunting nets.
O resourceful man, whose skills overcome ferocious beasts roaming mountain heights.
He curbed the rough-haired horses with his bit, and tamed the inexhaustible mountain bulls, setting their savage necks beneath his yoke.
He's taught himself speech and wind-swift thought, trained his feelings for communal civic life, learning to escape the icy shafts of frost, volleys of pelting rain and winter storms, the harsh life lived under the open sky.
That's man,
So resourceful in all he does. There's no event his skill cannot confront, other than death. That alone he cannot shun, although for many baffling sicknesses he has discovered his own remedies.
The qualities of his inventive skills bring art beyond his dreams and lead him on, sometimes to evil, sometimes to good.
If he treats his country's laws with due respect, and honors justice by swearing to God,
He wins high honors in his city.
But when he grows bold and turns to evil,
Then he has no city.
a man like that,
let him not share my home or know my mind. What's this? Fearsome omen from God. Cannot deny what I see here so clearly. That girl there. It's Antigone. Oh, poor girl. Daughter of Oedipus. Child of such a father. What's going on? Surely they've not brought you here because you disobeyed the royal laws. Because they caught you acting foolishly.
This here's the one who who buried the corpse. We caught her, she was burying the corpse. Where's Creon?
He's coming from the palace. And just in time.
Why have I come just in time? What's going on? What is it?
My lord, human beings should never take an oath. There's something they'll not do. For later thoughts contradict what they first meant. I'd have sworn not to venture here again, but I've come back, breaking the oath that I swore. I bring this girl captured while she was honoring the grave. This time, we did not draw lots. This time, I was the lucky man, not someone else. And so, my lord, take her for questioning, convict her, do as you wish. As for me, by rights, I'm free and clear of all this trouble.
This girl here. How did you catch her and where?
She was burying her brother. Now you know all there is to know.
Do you understand what you're saying? Are your words the truth?
We saw this girl give me that dead man's corpse full burial rights, an act you'd made illegal. Is what I say simple and clear enough?
How did you see her? Catch her in the act!
It happened this way. When we got there, after hearing those awful threats from you, we swept off the dust covering the corpse so the damp body was completely bare. Then we sat down on rising ground upwind just to escape the body's putrid rotting stench. We traded insults just to stay awake in case someone was careless in the job. That's always been the time. Right up till noon, when the sun's bright circle in the sky had moved halfway and it was burning hot. Then suddenly, a windstorm came, whipping clouds of dust up from the ground, filling the plain. Some Hernandez had trouble. The air around was filled with dust for miles. We shut our mouths and just endured the scourge sent from God. A long time passed. The storm came to an end. That's when we saw the girl. She was shrieking, a distressing, painful cry. Just like a bird who's seen an empty nest, its fledglings gone. That's how she was when she saw the naked corpse. She screamed out a lament, and then she swore, calling evil curses down upon the ones who'd done this. Then right away her hands threw on the thirsty dust. When we saw that, we rushed up right away and grabbed her. She was not afraid at all. We charged her with the previous offense, as well as this one. She just kept standing there, denying nothing. This made me happy, though it was painful too. For it's a joy escaping troubles which affect oneself, but painful to bring evil on one's friends. But all that is of less concern to me than my own safety.
You there. You with your face bent down towards the ground. What do you say? Do you admit you did this or deny it?
I admit it. I won't deny that.
You're dismissed. Go where you want. You're free! No serious charges will be made against you! Tell me, briefly, not in some lengthy speech, were you aware of the proclamation we had declared?
I heard of it. How can I not? It was public knowledge.
And yet you dare break these very laws.
Yes, God did not announce those laws, and justice living with God set no such laws for men. So I did not think anything which you proclaimed strong enough to let a mortal override God and his unwritten and unchanging laws. They're not just for today or yesterday, but exist forever, and no one knows where they first appeared. So I do not mean to let a fear of any human will lead to my punishment from God. I know all too well I'm going to die. How can I not? It makes no difference what we decree. And if I have to die before my time, well, I'll count that a gain. When someone has to live the way I do, surrounded by so many evil things, how can she fail upon a benefit in death? And so for me, meeting this fate won't bring any pain. But if I just allowed my own mother's dead son to just lie there, an unburied corpse, then I'd feel distress, dishonor, disrespect. What's going on here doesn't hurt me at all. If you think what I'm doing now is stupid, then perhaps I'm being charged with foolishness by someone who's a fool!
It's clear enough. The spirit in this girl is passionate. Her father was the same. She has no sense of compromise in times of trouble.
But you should know, the strongest wills are the ones you see most often break. The strongest iron tempered in the fire to make it really hard. That's the kind you see most often shatter. I'm well aware that the most tempestuous horses are tamed by one small bit. Pride has no place in anyone who is his neighbor's slave. This girl here was already very insolent in contradicting orders we had proclaimed. Here she again displays her proud contempt. Having done the act, she now boasts of it. She laughs at what she's done. Well, in this case, if she goes unpunished, then she's the man here, not me. No, she may be my sister's child, closer to me, my blood, than anyone belonging to my house. But she will not escape my harshest punishment. Her sister, too, whom I condemn as well. She had an equal part in doing this burial. Go, summon her now. I saw her now, just inside the palace. Her mind out of control, some kind of fit. When people hatch their mischief in the dark, their minds often convict them in advance, betraying their trespasses. How I despise an evil person who then wishes to glorify the crime.
Why delay? I care no more for your opinion than you care for mine. I glory in my duty of love done for my brother. Take me and kill me. What more do you want?
Me? Nothing. With that, I have enough.
And why delay? There's nothing in your words that I enjoy. May that always be the case. And what I say displeases you as much. But where can I gain greater glory than bring my own brother to his grave to heaven? All those here would confirm this pleases them, and their lips weren't sealed by fear. Being king, which offers all sorts of various benefits, means you can talk and act just as you wish.
In all of Thebes, you're the only one who looks at things this way.
They share my views, but keep their mouths shut just for you.
These views of yours, so different from the rest. Tell me, don't they bring you any sense of shame?
No, there's nothing shameful in honoring my mother's children. Your own son was killed in the battle.
You had a brother, killed fighting for the other side.
Yes, from the same mother and father too.
Why then give tributes which insult his name?
But his dead corpse won't back up what you say.
Yes, he will, if you give equal honors to a wicked Pan.
Wicked? But the one who died was not some slave. It was his own brother. My brother, your nephew.
One was destroying the city, the other one went to his grave defending it.
That may be. But God still desires equal rights for both. I am not governed by hatred, but by love.
A good man does not wish to be the same an evil man receives.
Who knows? In this world, perhaps such actions are no crime.
An enemy can never be a friend, not even in death.
My nature is to love. I cannot hate.
Then go to the dead. If you must love, love them. No woman's going to govern me, no, not while I'm still alive.
Ismene's coming. There, by the door. She's crying. How she must love her sister.
You there. You snake! Lurking in my house! Sucking out my life's blood so secretly! I had no idea I was nurturing two pests waiting to rise against my throne. Come here, tell me, do you admit you played your part in this burial, or will you swear an oath you had no knowledge of it?
I did it! I admit it, and she'll back me up! Swear I bear the guilt as well. Thank you. Let it be redeemed for my brother. No, justice will not allow you to say that. You didn't want to. I didn't work with you. You cannot claim what you would not touch. Now you're in trouble. I am not afraid of suffering too, as your companion. God and the dead can say who did it. I don't love a friend whose love is only words. You're my sister. Don't disrespect me. Let me accept the death and die with you. No, don't try to share my death, or make a claim to actions which you would not do. I'll die and that'll be enough. I fear God. What is there in life for me to love? Ask Creon. He's the one you care about. Why hurt me like this? It doesn't help you. If I am mocking you, then it pains me too. Even now, is there some way I can help? Save yourself. I won't envy your escape. I feel so wretched leaving you here to die. But you chose life. It was my choice to die. Not before I said those words just now. Some people may approve of how you think. Others will believe my judgment's good. And it stays the same for both of us. Brave. You're alive. But my spirit died some time ago that I might help our dead brother. Your death would serve no purpose. My death will be enough.
I'd say one of these girls has just revealed how mad she is. The other one's been that way since she was born.
My king. Whatever good sense people have with them by birth no longer stays with them once their lives go wrong. It abandons them.
In your case, that's true. Once you made your choice to act in wicked ways with evil people.
How can I live alone without her here?
Don't speak of her being here. Her life is over.
You're going to kill your own son's bride?
Why not? There are other fields for him to plow.
No one will make him a more living life than she will.
I have no desire my son should have an evil life.
Dearest Haemon, how your father wrongs you.
I've had enough of this. You and your marriage.
You really want that? You're going to take her from him?
No, not me. God's the one who stopped the marriage.
So she must die. That seems decided on.
Yes, for you and me, the matter's closed. No more delay. You and you, take them inside. From this point on, they must act like women and have no liberty to wander off. Even bold men run when they see God coming close to them to snatch their lives.
Those who live without tasting evil have happy lives. But when a god shakes a house to its foundation, then inevitable disaster strikes, falling upon whole families, and crashes headlong on the cliffs, which scream in pain against the wind.
I see this house is angel of sorrows.
The house of the children of Oedipus.
Sorrows falling upon the sorrows of the dead. One generation bringing no relief to generations after it. God strikes at them, on and on without an end.
For now the light which has been shining over the last roots of Oedipus's house is being
cut down with a bloody knife.
For foolish talk and frenzy in the soul.
O God, what human trespasses can check your power?
Even sleep, who casts his nets on everything, cannot master that.
Nor can the months, the tireless months God controlled.
From
now on into all future time, as in the past, your law holds firm. It never enters the lives of human beings in its full force without disaster. Hope.
Ranging far and wide brings comfort to many men.
But then hope.
And deceived delusions born of volatile desire.
Someone's wisdom has revealed to us this famous saying.
Sometimes God lures a man's mind forward to disaster, and he thinks evil something good.
But then he lives only the briefest time, free of catastrophe. Here comes Haemon, your only living son.
Is he grieving the fate of Antigone, his bride, bitter that his marriage hopes are gone?
We'll soon find out more accurately than any prophet here could indicate. My son, have you heard the sentence that's been passed upon your bride? And have you now come here angry at your father? Or are you on my side, loyal to me no matter what I do?
Father, I'm yours. For me, your judgments and the ways you act on them are good. I shall follow them. I'll not consider any marriage a greater benefit than your fine leadership, Father.
Indeed, my son, that's how your heart should always be resolved, to stand behind your father's judgment on every issue. That's what men pray for. Obedient children growing up at home who will pay back their father's enemies evil to them for evil done to him, while honoring his friends as much as he does. A man who's fathered useless children. What can one say of him except he's bred troubles for himself, and much to laugh at for those who fight against him? So, my son, don't ever throw good sense aside for pleasure, for some woman's sake. You understand that such embraces can turn freezing cold when an evil woman shares your life at home. What greater wound is there than a false friend? So spit this girl out. She is your enemy. Let her marry someone else in hell or heaven, since I caught her clearly disobeying my law, the only culprit in the entire city. I won't perjure myself before the state. No, I'll kill her. And so let her appeal to God, the God of blood relationships. If I foster any lack of full respect in my own family, I surely do so with those who are not linked to me by blood. We must obey whatever man the city puts in charge, no matter what the issue, great or small, just or unjust. For there is no greater wound than a lack of leadership. That destroys whole cities, drives men from home, and in war makes soldiers break and run away. When soldiers succeed, what keeps their lives secure in almost every case is their obedience. So we must always support those in control and never let some woman beat us down. If we must fall from power, let that come at some man's hand. At least we won't be called inferior to any woman.
Unless we're being deceived by our old age. What you've just said seems reasonable to us.
Father, God instills good sense in men, the greatest of things which we possess. I can't find your words somehow not right. I hope that's something I never learned to do. But other words might be good as well. Because of who you are, you can't perceive the things men say or do, or their complaints. Your gaze makes citizens afraid. They can't say anything you would not like to hear. But in the darkness, I hear them speak. The city is upset about the girl. They say of all women here, she least deserves the worst of deaths for her most glorious act. When in the slaughter, her own brother died. She did not just leave him there to be torn apart by wild dogs or birds. Surely she deserves some golden honor. That's the dark, secret rumor people speak. For me, Father, nothing is more valuable than your well-being. For any children, what could be a greater honor to them than their father's thriving reputation? A father feels the same about his sons. So don't let your mind dwell on just that one thought, that what you say is right and nothing else. A man who thinks not only he is wise, he can speak and think like no one else. When such men are exposed, all can see their emptiness inside. For any man, even if he's wise, there's nothing shameful in learning many things. Staying flexible. A man, though wise, should never be ashamed of learning more and must unbend his mind. You notice how in winter floods the trees which bend before the storm preserve their twigs, and the ones who stand against it are completely destroyed, root and branch. In the same way, those sailors who keep their sails stretched tight, never easing off, make their ship capsize, and from that point on sail with their rowing benches completely submerged. So end your anger. Permit yourself to change, for if I as a younger man may state my views, I'd say it's best if men by nature understood all things. And if not, and that's usually the case, when men speak well, it's good to learn from them.
My lord, if what he said is relevant, it seems appropriate to learn from him. And you too, Haemon, listen to the king. The things which you both said were excellent.
And men my age, are we then going to school to learn what's wise from men as young as him?
There's nothing wrong in that. And if I'm young, don't look at my age, look at what I do.
And what you do, does that include this? Honoring those who act against our laws.
I would not encourage anyone to show respect to evil men.
And her, Antigone, is she not suffering from the same disease?
The people here in Thebes all say the same thing, deny she is.
So, the city will now instruct me how I am to govern. He who wears the crown must govern, be it wrong or right. If he cannot rule his own house, he cannot rule the state.
Now you're talking like someone far too young. Don't you see that?
Am I to rule this land by myself or in someone else's way?
A city which belongs to just one man is no true city.
According to our laws, does not the ruler own the city?
By yourself, you'd make an excellent king. But in the desert...
Womanish! You are a monster to defy your father! It seems as if the boy is fighting on the woman's side.
That's true. If you're the woman, I'm concerned for you. You defy God's law.
Woman slave.
You're a slave to yourself!
You're the worst there is. You set your judgment up against your father.
Now when I see you making a mistake and being unjust.
Is it a mistake to honor my own rule?
You're not honoring that by trampling on God's plan.
By your words. I'll speak on her behalf.
And yours are all for God?
You woman slave. Don't try to win me over.
What do you want? To speak and never hear someone's reply?
You will not have her while she's alive! You will not marry her!
Then she'll die! And in her death kill someone else.
Are you so insolent you threaten me?
Where's the threat in challenging a bad decree?
You'll be sorry for parading like this. You! A person with an empty brain!
If you were not my father, I'd say you were thinking with an empty brain!
Would you indeed? Well then, by God, you'll be sorry for demeaning you with all these insults. Bring her out! Antigone! That hateful creature! So she can die right here, with him present, before her bridegroom's eyes.
No! I never hoped that she'll not die with me just standing there. And as for you, your eyes will never see my face again. So let your rage charge on among your friends who want to stand by you in this!
My king, Haemon left in such a hurry. He's angry. In a young man at his age, the mind turns bitter when he's feeling hurt.
My son will not save these girls. Their fate is sealed.
Are you going to kill them both?
No. Not the ones whose hands are clean, you're right.
How do you plan to kill Antigone?
We'll take her on a path no people use, and bury her alive in a cave in the rocks. Set up provisions, as much as religion requires to make sure that the city is not totally corrupted. There, she can speak her prayers to God in success, avoiding death, or else. At least she'll learn, although too late, how it's a waste of time to honor those whom death holds.
Oh God,
The conqueror in every fight.
God,
who squanders all men's wealth.
No man escapes from you,
Nor any woman.
and the one whom you possess goes mad. Even in good men you twist their minds, perverting them to their own ruin. You provoke these to family strife.
The bride's desire seen glittering in her eyes that conquers everything.
Its power is enthroned beside eternal laws.
For her,
God works his will. God's ways are irresistible.
Oh, love, invisible love, the world is your dominion. One word frees us all of the weight and pain of life. That word is love.
When I look at her, I forget my place. I lose restraint and can't hold back my tears. Antigone going to her bridal room where all are laid to rest in death.
Look at me, my native citizens, as I go on my final journey, as I gaze upon the sunlight one last time, which I'll never see again, for God, who brings all people to their final sleep, leads me on while I'm still living. I've not yet had my bridal chant, nor has any wedding song been sung for my once marriage to Haemon.
Surely.
you carry fame with you and praise as you move to the home of the dead.
No, you are in charge of your own fate. So of all living human beings, you alone make your way to death still alive.
God brings me to a final rest.
But still, it's a fine thing for a woman. Once she's dead, to have it be said, she shared in life and death the fate of her family.
You're mocking me! Why do you hold my own city and the richest ones of thieves insult me now, right to my face while waiting for my death? Well, at least I have God's love, the holy grounds of thieves, a city full of splendid chariots to witness how no friend mourns for me as I move on. You see the laws which lead me to my rock-bound prison, a tomb made just for me. Oh God, I'm moved, unloved, unwed. In my wretchedness, I have no home, not with human beings or corpses, not with the living or the dead.
You pushed your daring to the limit, my child, and tripped against justice's high altars. Perhaps your agonies are paying back some compensation for your father.
Now there you touch my most painful thought! My father's destiny always on my mind, along with that whole fate which sticks to us, the splendid house of Oedipus. A curse arising from a mother's marriage bed when she had sex of her own son! My father! From what kind of parents was I born, their wretched daughter? Oh, too, for Polynices, who perished while fighting your own brother, and with those deaths killed me while still living.
To be piously devout shows reverence, but powerful men who in their persons incorporate authority cannot bear anyone to break their rules. Hence, you die because of your own selfish will.
Without lament, without a friend, and with no marriage song, I'm being led in this miserable state along my final road. So wretched that I no longer have the right to look upon the sun or God. But no friend mourns.
Don't you know that no one faced with death would ever stop the singing and the groans, if that would help? Take her and shut her up as I have ordered in her tomb's embrace, then leave her there alone, all by herself. She can sort out whether she wants suicide or remain alive. Buried alive in a place like that. But she's lost her place in living here with us, and we bear no guilt.
Oh, my doom and bridal chamber, my eternal hollow dwelling place where I go to meet my people, my family. Most have already perished. Welcome to them among the dead. Ismene will live on, alone. I am the last one, dying here, the most evil death by far. As I go before the time allotted for my life is done, I go nourishing the vital hope. My father will be pleased to see me come, and you too, my mother, will welcome me, as well as you, my own dear brothers. When you died, with my own hands, I washed you, I arranged your corpse, and at the grave mound I poured out libations. But now, Polynices, this is my reward for covering your corpse. However, for wise people, I was right to honor you. What law do I appeal to claiming this? What holy justice have I violated? In my wretchedness, why should I still look up to God? Can I invoke God to bring me help? When for my reverence they charge me with a lack of reverence for God? Well then, if this is something fine with God, I'll come to recognize that I've done wrong. But if these people here are being unjust, may they endure no greater punishment than the injustices they're doing to me.
The same storm blasts continue to attack the mind of this young girl.
Then those escorting her will be sorry they're so slow.
Oh, but that means death is very near at hand.
I will encourage you by saying that the sentence won't be carried out.
Oh, city of my father Oedipus, in this land of thieves and my God, I am being led away. No more delaying for me. Look at me, the lords of thieves. The next and last survivor of your royal house, see what I undergo for paying reverence to my brother. They are going to bury me alive.
A mortal woman, is this not you? Glory in our world and the world beyond.
I have not sinned before God.
Take her! Go, as I have ordered. Our hands are clean.
Oh, invisible love, a world of sorts of meaning. One word frees us all of the weight and pain of life. That word is love.
No, not with wealth, or war, or walls, or words to hold in check.
Women.
In that frenzy inspired by God.
Heidi, Teiresias.
Lords of Thebes, we too have walked a common path. One person's vision serving both of us. The blind require a guide to find their way.
What news do you have, O Teiresias?
I'll tell you, and you obey the prophet.
I've not rejected your advice before.
That's why you steered the city onto its proper course.
From my experiences, I can confirm the help you give.
Then know this, your luck is once more on faith's razor edge.
What are you saying? What you're saying, it's making me nervous.
You'll know once you hear the tokens of my art. As I was sitting in my ancient place, receiving omens from the flights of birds, who all come there where I can hear them, I note among those birds an unknown cry, evil, unintelligible, angry screaming. I knew that they were tearing at each other with murderous claws. The noisy rings revealed that all too well. I was afraid. So right away upon the blazing altar I set up burnt offerings. But God failed to shine out from the sacrifice. Dark slime poured out onto the embers, oozing, which smoked and spat. Bile was sprayed high up into the air. The rites had failed. There was no prophecy revealed in them. I learned that from him, who is my guide as I guide others. Our state is sick. Your policies have done this in the city. Our altars and our hearts have been defiled. All of them with rotting flesh, brought there by birds and dogs from Oedipus' son, who lies there miserably dead. God will no longer accept our sacrifices, our prayers, our offerings burned in fire. No bird will shriek out a clear sign, for they have gorged themselves on fat and blood from a man who's dead. Consider this, my son. All men make mistakes, that's not uncommon. But when they do, they're no longer foolish or subject to bad luck if they try to fix the evil into which they've fallen, once they give up their stubbornness. Men who put their stubbornness on show invite accusations of stupidity. Make concessions to the dead. Don't ever stab a man who's just been killed. What's the glory in killing a dead person one more time? I've been concerned for you. It's good advice. Learning can be pleasant when one speaks well, especially when he or she seek your benefit.
Oh, prophet. You're all like archers, shooting at me. For you all, I've now been made your target. Even prophets have been aiming at me. I've long been bought and sold as merchandise among that tribe. Well, go on, make your profits if that's what you want, and trade it with my enemies for their golden, silver alloy, or for gold, but you will never hide that corpse in any grave, even if God's eagles should choose to come down and seize his festering body and take it up, right up to the throne in heaven. Not even then would I, trembling in fear of some defilement, permit that corpse a burial. For I know well that no man has a power to pollute God. But, O Teiresias, the wise suffer a disgraceful fall when, to promote themselves, they throw around abusive insults.
Alas, does anyone know or think about?
Think about what? What sort of pithy comment are you about to utter?
How good advice is valuable, worth more than all possessions.
I think that much is true, as much as foolishness is what destroys us most.
Yet that's the sickness now infecting you.
I have no intent to denigrate a prophet when I speak.
Yet that's what you are doing when you claim my oracles are false.
The tribe of prophets, all of them are fond of money.
And kings are trying lost to benefit dishonestly.
You know, you're speaking to the man who rules you.
I know. Thanks to me, you saved the city and now are in control.
You're a wise prophet, but you love doing wrong.
You'll force me to speak of secrets locked inside my heart.
Do it! Just don't speak to benefit yourself.
I don't think I'll be doing that, not as far as you're concerned.
You can be sure you won't change my mind to make yourself more rich.
And understand this well. You will not the sun race through its cycle many times before you lose a child of your own loins. Hate corpse in payment for these unburied corpses. You've imprisoned someone in your arrogance. You moved a living soul into a grave in a cave, and leaving a bloody body owned by God, unburied, dispossessed, unsanctified. That's no concern of yours. In this you violate the unburied, and so destroying avengers wait for you, furies of hell, and the God who sees you caught up in this very wickedness. Now see if I speak as someone who's been bribed. It won't be long before in your own house the men and women all cry out as our own cities rise and hate against you. For all those mangled soldiers who have had burial rites from dogs, or all the animals or birds who carry the unholy stench back home. Like an archer, I shoot these arrows out into your heart because you've provoked me. I'm angry, so my aim is good. You'll not escape their pain. Guide is home. So he can vent his rage on younger ones and keep a quieter tongue and a more tempered mind than he has now. No man can avoid his own destiny.
My lord, such dreadful prophecies. And now Teiresias is gone. Since my hair changed color, I know here in the city Teiresias has never uttered a false prophecy.
I know that too. And it disturbs my mind. Oh, how hard it is for a mind to be changed by force.
King Creon, you must listen to some good advice.
Tell me what to do. Speak up. I'll do it.
Go and release Antigone from her rock tomb. Then prepare a burial for her brother, Polynices' unburied corpse.
This is your advice. You think I should concede?
Yes, my lord, as fast as possible.
It's difficult, but I'll give up. I'll not do what I set my heart upon. I will do it because I must.
Go now and get this done. Do not give the work to other men to do.
I will go just as I am. Come, you soldiers, each and every one of you, up to the high ground. I've changed my mind. Since I'm the one who tied her up, I'll go there and release her myself. Now, I'm afraid, until one dies, the best thing may be to follow our established laws.
Oh God!
You glory our Theban bride Antigone,
our child of Oedipus,
and rule the valley land, and all who dwell
in our mother city Thebes.
God save Antigone, children born of God, O my Lord, who dance in frenzy all night long, for you their worship.
Never shall I scorn or envy any man. Never. Never. Once he sat on this throne, his sons beside him. Now, all is lost. All you here who are outside the home of Creon and Eurydice, in human life, there is no set place which I would praise or blame. The lucky and the unlucky rise or fall by chance day after day. How these things are fixed for men, no one can prophesy. For Creon, in my view, was once someone we all looked up to. For he saved the state from its enemies. He took control and reigned as its sole king. and prospered with the birth of noble children. Now, all is gone. For when a man has lost what gives him pleasure, I don't include him among the living. He's a breathing corpse.
Do you come with news of some fresh trouble in our house of Creon?
They're dead. And those alive bear the responsibility for those who've died.
Who's done the killing? Who's lying dead? Tell us.
Haemon has been killed. No stranger shed his blood.
At his father's hand? Or did he kill himself?
By his own hand. Angry at his father for the murder.
Teiresias, O prophet, how your words have proven true.
That's how things stand. Consider what comes next.
I see Creon's wife, poor Eurydice. She's coming from the palace, either by chance or she's heard there's news of her son.
Citizens of Thebes, I heard talking while I was walking out to go pray. I'm still mourning the loss of my son from this war, to ask help from God. While I was in prayer, I heard someone speaking bad news about my family. I was terrified. I collapsed, fainting back into the arms of my attendants. So tell the news again. I'll listen. I'm no stranger to misfortune. Keep nothing hidden, whatsoever it may be, for grief and I are well acquainted.
Dear lady, I'll speak of what I saw, omitting not one detail of the truth. Lies give brief comfort, since you must know the truth in some time. The time for truth is best for now. Why should I ease your mind with a report that turns out later to be incorrect? The truth is always best. I went to the plain, accompanying your husband as his guide. Polynices' corpse, still unlamented, was lying there, the greatest distance off, torn apart by dogs. We prayed to God for his goodwill and to restrain his rage. We gave the corpse a ritual wash and burned what was left of it on fresh cut branches. We piled up a high tomb of his neighborhood. Then we moved to the young girl's rocky cave, the hollow cavern of that bride of death. From far away, a man heard a voice coming from the cave where we left her without a funeral. A piercing cry. He went to tell our master Creon, who, as he approached the place, heard the sound, an unintelligible scream of sorrow. Creon groaned, and then spoke these bitter words. Has misery made me a prophet now? And am I traveling along a road that leads me to the worst of all disasters? I just heard the voice of my own son. You soldiers, go ahead, get up them fast. Remove the stones piled in the entranceway. Stand beside the tomb and look inside and see if it was Haemon's voice I heard. Or if my God is deceiving me. Following what our desperate master asked, we looked. In the furthest corner of the tomb, we saw Antigone hanging by the neck, held up in a red noose, fine woven linen. Haemon had his arms around her waist, embracing her as he cried out in sorrow for the loss of his own bride. Now among the dead, his father's work. And for his horrifying marriage bed. Creon saw him, let out a fearful groan, and then called out anxiously, "You unhappy boy! What have you done? What are you thinking? Have you lost your mind? Come with me, my child. I beg you, please come." But the boy just stared at him with savage eyes, spat in his father's face, and without saying a word drew his sword. Creon moved away, so the boy's sword failed to strike his father, but angry at himself, the ill-fated lad, right then and there, leaned into his own sword, driving half the blade between his ribs. Still conscious, he embraced Antigone in his weak awe. And as he breathed his last, he kissed her upon her dead lips. Now he lies there, corpse on corpse. His marriage has been fulfilled in the cave of death. The unfortunate boy has shown us all how, of all the evils which afflict mankind, the most disastrous one is thoughtlessness.
The queen's gone back. She left without a word.
Strange. But I do not think she would stay to show her grief. Silence can hold more pain than the loudest cries.
Not sure of that. To me, her silence was extreme. It seems to point to something ominous, like some vain excess of grief.
I'll go in. I shall see what is hidden in her silence. You're right. Excessive silence can be dangerous.
Here comes the king, carrying in his arms, if it's right to speak of this, a reminder that this evil comes not from some stranger, but his own mistakes.
Foolish mistakes. Cruel mistakes that bring on death. You see us here, the killer and the killed of the same blood. Oh, my son, you died so young. Death before your time. You're dead. Gone! Not by your foolishness, but mine. Oh, how blind my willfulness.
Alas, it seems you've learned to see what's right, but far too late.
Now, in my agony, I see the wretched agony of human life, so that my joy would perish.
My lord. Your burden is heavy, and yet you have more to bear.
My lord, you come like one who stores up evil, what you hold in your arms, and what you'll see before too long inside the house.
What are you saying? Can there be anything more evil than all this?
Your wife is dead. Blood mother of that corpse, slaughtered with a sword. Her wounds are very new, Hurley.
A gathering place for death! No sacrifice can bring this to an end! Why are you destroying me? You there, you bringer of this hateful news, this agony! What are you saying? Kill a man, and kill him once again.
Look inside.
Oh God. How miserable I feel now to look upon this second horror. What's fate still got in store for me? What remains for me? I just held my own son in my arms. Now I see right there another corpse. Her wife, suffering wife, and son. Ow.
Stabbed with a sharp sword at the altar. Once she had cried out in sorrow for her son, for the glorious fate of Barrios, who died fighting supporting Eteocles, and then again for Haemon and Antigone. And then, with her last breath, she called out evil things against you, the killer of your sons and the daughter-in-law she was never permitted to embrace, and for her grandchildren who would never know her love.
Will someone drive a sword into my heart? Affliction and I are one.
By this woman who lies dead, you stand charged with the deaths of both your sons, your wife, and Antigone.
What about Eurydice, my wife? How did she die so violently?
She killed herself! With her own two hands. She stabbed herself once she heard of her son's unhappy fate.
The guilt for all of this is mine. I alone am guilty. I murdered you. I speak the truth. Someone hurry and lead me away from here. Get me away from here. For now, what I am in life is nothing.
A good thought. If there can be a good thought in so much wrong, pain out of sight is always less.
Come closer, death. Come to me. You're all I crave now. I have no desire to see another day.
Say no more. No man can avoid his destiny. We must deal with what confronts us here. What's yet to come is the concern of those whose task it is to deal with it.
Oh, my heart. Wasn't that prayer?
Pray for nothing. There's no release for mortal human beings, not from events which destiny has set. There's no place for a man who caused the deaths of his sons, his wife, and Antigone. The greater your arrogance, the heavier God's revenge. Tomorrow is tomorrow. Future cares have future cures, and we must mind today.
Oh, what a shame and mockery are the ways of man. Everything I touch goes wrong.
All happiness must be crowned with wisdom and reverence for divine law. The most important part of true success is wisdom, not to act disrespectfully towards God, for boasts of arrogant men bring on great punishment. So in old age, men can discover